The Rob and Kale Show. Rob Sanders.
His own mother slapped the stork that delivered him.
And Kale Hall.
He doesn't deserve to be in this business. He deserves to have been blackballed.
The Rob and Kale Podcast.
And welcome into the Rob and Kale Podcast. Every time, I got to be honest, Jackpot, I wasn't really jacked about doing a show this evening. Just kind of burnt out and all that other good stuff. But then I hear that opener and I talk to you and I get on fire. I'm ready to bring the goods to the people tonight. Are you ready to jump on board here, sir?
Absolutely.
Well, good. Let's put together a good show. We are not going to talk about brand extension or extension for the SEC and the ACC. We're not doing any of that shit. We're not doing any of that tonight. Sorry. I talked about that today on the Rundown show, and it is a huge story. The only thing I will say about it is that the Big 12 sent a cease and desist to ESPN. What a bitch move. Your two best teams are leaving. You're sending a cease and desist to ESPN, telling them, don't talk about the conference going away anymore. What a bunch of shit that is. Did you see that story, Jackpot?
Yeah, I saw something about it. I'll be quite honest with you. I haven't had a lot of time to keep up with a whole lot the past couple of days. I did put out a video, but that's about it. I've been grinding hard.
Well, here's what we're going to do. Tonight we're going to talk about potential upsets. There was a string of upsets that were put forth by the fine folks at 247 Sports that we're going to go over today. I'm going to feed them to Jackpot, and Jackpot's going to tell me either A, there's no way in blue hell that's going to happen, or he's going to rate them from 0 to 10. Now, 10 means book that shit. It's going to happen. Either way, we're going to see where Jackpot is on these, and I'll give you my opinions too. I'm just going to tee Jackpot up here and let him go crazy. But before we do that, let's thank our sponsors, Callaway's Bar and Grill, Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. By the way, they sponsor the Callaway's Pick'em Challenge, which is in the description for this show. Whether you watch on Facebook, you watch on YouTube, doesn't matter. It's in the description for the show. Go and click on it. Send $20 to Carolina Jackpot. He will not steal your money. He will hold your money.
I will not steal your money, even though I need it.
He will hold your money until the end of the season. Why? Because we're going to have about 50 of us crazy fools in this contest at least, and you can win an opportunity if you can pick the most amount of games. It's not an opportunity. You're going to win the whole damn pot. We have one winner for this contest, and that is the person who picks the most games against the spread. We have 10 games the first week, 5 games each week after that, and the conference championship games too. So here's the great part. The week after, the Sunday after conference championship season, when Clemson's getting their next CFP invite, and we're laughing at the Georgia Bulldogs, and South Carolina's wrapping up a 5-win season, we're going to be able to give somebody a big wallet full of cash so they can take their fine female partner or male partner or whatever the hell it is that you do. We're fine with all of that, and you can take them Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
So there you go with that.
They're definitely making a run at the playoffs again this year, without question. Best 1-1 quarterbacks ever to step on a football field. Yeah, I'm just teeing that one up. This dumbass up here in the upstate on the Tater Radio, I think it was yesterday, he was going on with that shit, talking about Shane Beamer is the best head coach I've ever seen with a 0-0 record. All right, you know what? Fuck you. I mean, what are we supposed to say? He's not going to be worth a shit. Just book it. He's going to be worth a shit. He's going to suck. He's going to be fired in 3 years. He's going to be washing Will Muschamp's car. I mean,
Jesus. Well, let me help the jerk off in the upstate. Dabo Sweeney said at there was some charity event last night where the two of them were together, and I almost pulled it because the way that these two talked about each other, it was absolutely nothing but mutual respect. Sweeney talked about how great Coach Beamer is. Beamer talked about how great Coach Sweeney is. You would have thought that they were kissing cousins, whatever. But I mean, it was a very respectful tone. But they both did say that the Saturday after Thanksgiving, they're hoping to win. And both coaches said that. And Shane Beamer said it with a straight face, as in, hey, I want to go out and win that game. And you know what? You got to appreciate that. Bring some validity back to this rivalry. Let's stop having a bunch of Will Muschamp bullshit where South Carolina is going to lose by 3 touchdowns before they even get on the damn field. I'm all for that. Let's have some ramped up for that.
Definitely.
All right. Anyway,
but
Callaway sponsors
guys, definitely get in on that contest. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go on ahead and get in on it early, but the links to Carolina Jackpot's Venmo and PayPal are in the description box below. Like you said, $20. I mean, everybody's got $20 floating around. Why not just go on ahead and do it now and get it taken care of? We announced this Sunday. I only got one person so far. Now, we always have a huge rash of people who jump in this thing, right before the season starts. But like I said, why not go on ahead? Just go on ahead and get this knocked out now. Don't even have to worry about it. You don't even have to sweat it, right before the season starts. You're like, oh, God, man, have I paid them yet or not? And you're sitting here, you're going back, you're scrolling back through your phone, you're looking back through your PayPal. Oh, God, I can't remember if I paid Rob and Kale or not. Like, man, I guess I just can't be in the contest. So do it now. Get it knocked out. Get it taken care of. And those of you who are on here who talk a lot of shit, here's your chance to put your money where your mouth is. Okay?
Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is. All these people are, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Blah, 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 blah.
I did some research, Jackpot, and in the past, I think it's 4 contests that we've had, I finished in the top 5 in the past 4 contests. So I'm just saying, you need to come with the lumber. I mean, I've won it twice, I believe. Or no, I won the pick'em, and then I won the bowl pick'em. But SEC Dog with an actual good question. What games do we pick? We determine the games we're going to pick here on the show. We do that on Wednesday night, so you'll know exactly what they are, and they will be posted for you to pick on Thursday. So, yeah, that's the way it's going to work. But good stuff there. Get involved. The link is in the show description here, so it's very simple. Let's also thank, of course, Callaway's Bar and Grill. What were you saying, Jackpot? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Bob Rutherford says Jackpot wants to draw interest on my money. And he's right. I'm an entrepreneur.
Anyway,
I ain't gonna stunt.
That's some funny stuff there. But thanks to Callaway's for sponsoring that. We appreciate them. If you're in West Columbia or if you're going to a game, stop there. You can get your wings and all that for your tailgate. They'll cook it up for you. That way you ain't got to bother your wife, girlfriend, significant other, boyfriend, whatever. They'll cook it all up for you and have it ready to go for you. You can do that at Callaway's too. Or if you want to avoid going down to that shithole at Williams-Brice Stadium and you don't want to get shot, you will not get shot at Callaway's. You can walk right in and feel right at home. So there you go with that. Let's also thank DNC Trucking and Transport, a gentleman who has sponsored our show and loves the program. That is, of course, Dennis Wilson. His name is, of course, Dennis Wilson from DNC Trucking and Transport. The Fireside Chats with Uncle Jackpot. Jackpot, please read our fine sponsorship this evening.
All righty. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Some of our fans think we should leave the SEC and join the ACC. We should probably just join the Southern Conference. We are a shithole. It's been 2,407 days since my piss poor team beat Clemson on the football field. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. The games that we pick are the big games there, SEC Dogs. So like the first week of the season, just to give you, because I've got them right here. The first week of the season, FSU, Notre Dame, LSU, or Louisville and Ole Miss, Clemson and UGA, Alabama, Miami, Eastern Illinois, South Carolina, LSU, UCLA, Penn State, Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, West Virginia, Maryland, and Louisiana and Texas. We'll pick different games every week. So,
Brent Jones over on YouTube says, Jackpot, why are you always driving and crying about Clemson? You jealous? Huh? What? Yesterday I drove and made a video. I talked about Shane Beamer and the SEC and leaving for the ACC. And I don't know. I don't know when the last time I shed a tear whilst I was driving was. Probably when I found out my dad died last November, but I haven't cried about Clemson. So
we ain't got to get all sad up here on the show, Jackpot. SEC Dog says, who decides what games to pick? Jackpot and I decide, but we decide right here on the show. So we'll pick out the 5 best games the week after. It's 10 games the first week, 5 games each week after that, and we're going to pick the biggest games. Now, we do pick the Clemson and South Carolina game every week because that's kind of the home of the podcast here, but we also pick the 3 biggest games from around the country.
We have a Kell Hall special too.
Well, we might. Do you want to do 6 games so we can have the Kell Hall special every week?
I think we do need to do that. So we're going to have a Kell Hall special every week. This is the one where you have to have a little bit of you got to have a little bit of knowledge, got to have a little bit of skill on some of these. You might see Rice and Middle Tennessee on there. You may be UMass versus UConn. You may have your Hawaii versus Arizona. It'll be some interesting stuff.
The Kell Hall special, by the way, I hate that fucking thing. I never get those. It's so
what was
bad.
Last year we did Akron and Bowling Green.
Both of them. No, I think it was Akron. Yeah, I think it was Akron and UMass. I think there was one of the Kell Hall specials, and I literally I didn't know and going into the show, I didn't know which game Kell was going to go with. So my reaction, I should have made a TikTok video out of it because Kale's like, yeah, the Kell Hall special this week is Akron and UMass. And my face looked like I swallowed about 15 lemons and then drank half a bottle of whiskey and then got hit in the back of the head with a board by my wife. That's how my face looked. It was absolutely priceless. So that's what you'll get in the contest. Well, maybe just a little bit, Jackpot. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. These are some let me help SEC Dog here. Send the money to Carolina Jackpot. Yes, it's in the link. The link is in the bio there, SEC Dog. We would love to have you pick games with us, sir. You might win. I don't know. So the fine folks at 247 Sports put out some games that they think are potential upsets, Jackpot. And I'm going to feed you some of these games, and you tell me whether A, it's going to happen, or on a scale of 0 to 10, and 10 is it's going to happen. So 0 is no way in hell. 10 is
you're confusing me with the A and B. What's the A for? Is it we're just doing numbers here? We're not doing letters.
No, we're doing numbers 0 to 10.
Get your mind right. I'm the one drinking here. Okay.
Well, geez, I'm drinking some fucking protein. Fucking protein.
Hey, before we start that, Jeffrey Gooch says, hey, he got you here. Hey, Rod or Rob, whatever your name is, Clemson last time was on the field looked like a tag football team playing the 2020 Tampa Buccaneers. But that's only one game, right? LOL. Funny how you justify that.
Clemson got the shit kicked out of them. Go back and watch the video. I said point blank, Clemson had no business being on the field with Ohio State.
Yes, SEC dollars, $20. You do it if you do PayPal, make sure you send it as friends and family. Don't send it as goods and services because I only end up getting like $19.10 if you do that.
Yeah, and that's shortchanging the pot. We don't need that. All right, so
shortchanging the prize pot and shortchanging the jackpot.
Yeah, we can't be shortchanging the jackpot. Then Jackpot's going to be – he's already going to be pissed off by Halloween this year. We got to make sure he's right.
I'm not going to be pissed off at Halloween because they're growing right now about that tall. I tore up all my zucchini squash and yellow squash when they stopped producing, fertilized the dirt, did all that good stuff right before I went on vacation. I'm planting myself some pumpkins.
So are you going to make some pumpkin pie?
No, I'm actually going to give them away.
Fuck. I wanted some pumpkin pie.
No, I don't know how to do all that, man. I can take it out of a can, or I buy it frozen, or whatever. But no, I'm going to give the jack-o'-lanterns away.
Well, I will drive to your house to get one of your jack-o'-lanterns. Put my name on it. All right, here we go. Let's get some of these upsets, potential upsets from 247 Sports. The first one they have on the list is Army over Wisconsin on October the 16th. They say the Black Knights had their traditional triple option offense, which gives a lot of team fits. They were in the top 25 last season at one point. So perhaps Wisconsin will be ready, but it feels like Army is due to pull off a stunner. Are you buying it or not?
Not.
So where are we going here?
I don't think Army's gonna be that good. I think Wisconsin will be pretty good this year. And I mean, Army, I think somebody's gonna be ready for that finally. They've fucked with Michigan, almost beat them. Fucked with Oklahoma, almost beat them. Who else? The past few years, it just hasn't panned out. Last year they played Cincinnati. That was supposed to be a pretty good game, and they kind of looked like a plate full of piss in that game. So yeah, I'm not buying that. I think Wisconsin wins that pretty easy. Most the people have Army as a underdog on the road the first game of the season against fucking Georgia State. I don't know where that's coming from, but I'll have to dive deeper into that one. I don't believe that for a minute.
Yeah, I'm not buying that either. But that's the first matchup here, and I think Army always has the capability to pull an upset if people don't take them seriously. You can look at games that they had with Oklahoma and several other teams, but I think that Wisconsin will have them ready to go there. So with that, I'm going to give that about a 2 on the scale of could happen there. The next matchup is November the 20th jackpot, Oregon State over Arizona State. They say this game is going to be played in the cold, and Arizona State is between a pair of big games at Washington the week before and home against in-state rival Arizona the next week to end the regular season. ASU did beat Oregon State on the road last season, but the yardage tallies were close, 514 to 474 in favor of the Sun Devils. Which way you rolling with that one, buddy?
I put that about a 5 or a 6. I'm not that high. I'm not as high on Arizona State as I was. They got some issues there, some recruiting violations and that type of stuff. I think it's going to be a little bit of a distraction. I always back the Beeve, especially at home. It tends to get foggy there. You tend to have some foggy Beeve, a little dust on the Beeve, a little bit of dark Beeve, if you will, and that can cause some problems for some folks.
Did you just say dark Beeve on the podcast?
Yeah, it's dark. I mean, their stadium was like last year. If you watch the game when they beat Oregon, like a rented mule, it was extremely dark, dreary. I mean, it looked like I don't know, like they were out playing in the backyard of some haunted house or something. I don't know. It was just scary looking.
I'm with.
A weird place to play a game. Weird, weather to play a game in. I don't think Arizona State is accustomed to that type of stuff. And yeah, I think they definitely. I mean, do I think Arizona State's the better and more talented team? Yes. The Bees losing Jamar Jefferson. It's either a first or second round. I think it's second round draft pick. Somebody, pretty good player there. But that coach there, Jonathan Smith, you got him on the uptick. They're getting better. So,
yeah. Well, so Jackpot says because it's the dark Beeve, it's about a 5 or 6 on the Jackpot upset scale. I'm with that. I think that the Pac-12 is hot dog water, but I think there's a chance that some people can bounce around there. Maybe they're looking ahead a little bit, maybe just a little bit. By the way, shout out to Megan who had the super chat. He says, Rob, you'll need that protein for the strength to carry around that giant L after week 1. Thank you for sending us $10 to say something completely silly, Megan. You're always welcome here on the show. Cincinnati over Notre Dame on October the 2nd jackpot. The Cincinnati Bearcats are probably the best equipped for a run to the college football playoff out of the group of the 5 after creating some buzz last season. Really? Okay. Jackpot, can they go into Notre Dame and pull off the upset of the Catholics?
I'm going to put that one about a 3. I don't like. Well, first of all, Cincinnati's defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman had a really good defense last year. A really good defensive coordinator. Now he's the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame. So you got that. Also, the thing that just keeps bugging the shit out of me is that Cincinnati had to throw everything, including the kitchen sink at Georgia in the Peach Bowl last year. And Georgia had like a ton of opt-outs and a ton of players who just looked like they just didn't give a fuck, and still were able to win against an undefeated Cincinnati team. That kind of bothers me a little bit.
Can we make the argument that Georgia, they had a bunch of guys that opted out and, COVIDed out and all that stuff, and they were essentially running with their third string offensive line. I think that's fair at some positions. So, we always joke about bowl games don't really mean anything, but what the hell did Georgia have to play for in that game other than don't get embarrassed and lose to fucking Cincinnati? I mean, seriously, they had nothing to play for.
No.
So there's that.
They already got their ass whipped by their rival.
Exactly. That's funny. All right, so the next one, another – this is an interesting game. September the 11th, second week of the season jackpot. Oregon winning over Ohio State. Of course, Ohio State will be at home. Buckeyes are the favorite to win the Big Ten. Interesting stuff there. Do you think that Mario Cristobal and Oregon can go into the horseshoe and pick up the win over Ohio State?
Nah, I put that about a 3 also. I don't see that happening. Probably the best wide receiver in college football this year for Ohio State. And what's the quarterback's name? What's the kid's name?
For
Ohio State. What's the kid?
Oh God. Yeah, I would have known it if you'd have died. I'm lost.
Somebody put that down in the comments somewhere.
Tell us who the Ohio State quarterback is, or do they even freaking know? I know they're replacing Justin Fields, so they got to figure that out.
Oregon's is Tyler something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust Oregon to go on the road. Hell, a couple of years ago, the fucking lost to fucking Auburn, and that was with what was his name, Herbert, Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback there.
Tracy says it's C.J. Stroud, so thank you,
right.
Tracy.
That's right.
For being.
I don't think they're equipped right now to pull off upset against a playoff caliber team, and I don't think that Oregon is a playoff caliber team either.
I'm not buying the Pac-12 at all this year. I think Ohio State's going to roll, and we'll have to hear from Ohio State fans that is the biggest win ever.
James Thompson says Tate Martell. I think he's working at McDonald's somewhere right now.
No, he's at UNLV. He transferred to UNLV.
Like a hell of a career there.
Always
been known as a football power.
Exactly. Next matchup, Kansas State over Oklahoma, October the 2nd. Now, bear in mind, this is an Oklahoma team that does not have Shane Beamer on the sidelines, so they may not be as good of a team this year.
Very true.
You think that Kansas State can get the win there, Jackpot?
Where is this game being played?
Kansas State plays host this season, so it's at K-State.
I don't know how good Kansas State's going to be. I haven't really taken a look at their roster, but I don't think they get this.
They've won 2 straight against them, including last year and the year before.
Yeah, they have, but I mean, were they the better team either year?
No,
they weren't. So I mean, I think that Oklahoma is going to try to live up to the hype this year and not shit the bed and lose in winnable games. So yeah. Got 15 starters returning for Oklahoma. Picked up some transfers too. Thank you, Tennessee, for that. Where do they have? They got Kansas State. Phil Steele's got them down real low.
They're not. They're
third from the bottom in the Big 12. They're just above Baylor, and Kansas, and actually right behind Texas Tech. Ouch. Yeah.
Tech,
Give me Oklahoma.
Give me Oklahoma to cover whatever the spread is.
1.
All right, here's an interesting one, Jackpot. Halloween weekend, when someone is going to have some of those fresh pumpkins that Jackpot's growing at his house, they've got Pitt over Miami. That's an interesting thing there. Kenny Pickett, by the way, it seems like he's been at Pitt for about 80 years. It's his final season there. And, Pitt could be good. They've got 13 starters returning from last year's team. Can they go into Miami and get the win?
That game's at Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they always draw a hell of a crowd there, so big home field advantage.
Oh, no. It's at no. This game is at Pitt. I'm sorry.
It was. I'd put that about a 5. Miami shit the bed against them several times in the past, so it's definitely doable. I don't know how good Pitt's defense is going to be this year. They're losing a couple of those edge rushers. Kenny Pickett's okay, I guess.
He's a game manager. That's exactly what Kenny Pickett is.
Not really
he's
sure.
He's not going to lose you any games, but he's not going to win you any games either.
Yeah. I tell you who Kenny Pickett's going to beat.
Who's that?
That's week 2. SEC team. Yeah. I don't think it's happening though.
We'll have to see about that.
Anyway,
all right.
I put that about a 5. Miami's got a talented roster coming back. They've got, they're returning, I don't know, I think like 10 offensive players this year, if I'm not mistaken. I see what De'Aaron King's going to be able to do this year. He's heard a lot last year. Heard a little bit. So I put that about a 5. Pitt's tough.
I give that about a 7 if I were going to pick, because I think that Pitt will make that game dirty. And not what I mean by dirty is they're going to run the ball and try to grind the clock out. And I think that will hinder Miami a little bit. Justin disagrees with me.
Pitt's a wet fart, but they're a dirty wet fart.
I would repeat that, but my wife's over there.
They do.
What the hell are you talking about?
I call teams a wet fart when they're just their games, just their surroundings, just the culture is just not interesting to me at all. They're not interesting to me. I think Notre Dame's a wet fart. That's just my opinion. No,
maybe we should have
it's right or it's wrong.
Maybe we should have a bit every week where Kale's wet fart rankings, and we can move teams up and down on who's the biggest wet fart in college football.
You could even have some damn sound effects with that.
I
might even be able to provide you with a soundtrack.
Oh, I don't want to hear your wet fart, sir. That's not happening. Anyway, let's move on before we get more nasty on this show. My goodness. The next matchup that they have as a potential upset is Mizzou over Texas A&M. It says the Tigers should have enough to beat Texas A&M on the right day. This could be the right day in part because the Aggies will be coming off an emotional game against Alabama where they get throat punched again, just like they do every time they play Alabama. Okay. Mizzou stunned LSU in a very similar spot last season. Can Eli Drinkowitz pull another upset over a brand named SEC program? Jackpot, give me your rating on that one.
I put that one about a 4. I think Missouri they have the goods. They may be able to pull it off, but I just don't know. I just don't know if they would have the offensive firepower to compete with Texas A&M. I think that's a little right halfway through the season, maybe a little bit over. Jimbo Fisher could have. They're either going to be rolling or they're going to be reeling after they play Alabama, and as you just alluded to, you think they're probably going to be reeling. So I think regardless of the outcome of the Alabama game, if they get throat punched, they're going to be pissed off. They're going to be looking to make amends for that. Or, if they pull some kind of upset, beat Alabama, They're going to be looking to keep it rolling right along. Now, if they get beat by Alabama, they don't want Alabama to do them twice. That has been known to happen. That normally happens to shitty teams that aren't that well prepared. I think that Texas A&M's taken a step forward in the past year and a half or so. So, I think they'll take care of Missouri there. But I put it about a 4. It's not likely, but it could happen.
All right, so I'm going to give you this on the Mizzou game. We're going to pick our conference champions and stuff like that, division winners or whatever. I have Mizzou finishing second in the SEC East, just behind the Georgia Bulldogs. How are they going to do that? Because they're going to win over Texas A&M, which I think is going to be one of the more overrated teams in the country this year. I think Jimbo Fisher is going to be looking for a new job somewhere else here shortly, because they're not going to put up with this shit at Texas A&M. So there's that. Megan asked if we were taking calls. I have booted up the phones. You can feel free to call in 803-470-2905. Mizzou wins that game. I'm in the 7-8 range with that. I think Eli Drinkowitz has got his team jacked up for that matchup. Of course, it is on October the 16th. Then they have another opening game on September the 4th. UCLA over LSU. Jackpot. Are you buying that the Bruins can win over the Tigers this season?
No. I put that about a 2. I mean, they've got a lot. They got a lot returning. I don't think they got returns real good. Their quarterback's okay, but I mean, LSU. I think Kane was strong last year at the end of the year, and
right.
I think they're going to I think LSU has the potential to be the second best team in the SEC West. I don't think they're going to go on the road to the Rose Bowl and drop a game to the shitty UCLA Bruins. I just don't think that's going to happen. So
I don't think that's going to happen either.
I think I put that about a 2.
Yeah, I got it as the 2 too. That's about where I'm.
Highly unlikely, but it could happen.
All right, out to the phones we go. Welcome into the Rob and Kale Show. What's up,
Rob? Hey, buddy. It's Megan.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, listen. I caught a comment a show a couple days ago where someone had commented, and I'm not, believe me, I don't want to talk about expansion any more than you guys, and that's not what this call is about. But someone had thrown a comment up there on your show about Clemson wouldn't be as dominant in the SEC should they join. And once again, your Helen Keller listening skills took over, and you completely misheard or misinterpreted what the comment was, but he said as dominant, and you just went off on this tangent, and you kept saying you don't think Clemson can compete, and that's not what the comment was about. And then we went on and on and on about Clemson versus the SEC, and then you proceeded to say that Clemson would have won the SEC in, I don't know if it was 2018, 2019,
2016, 2018, they would have won the SEC. Right.
Okay, and you're basing that off of the fact that they beat the SEC champion, right?
Well, are you going to come at me and say that the 2018 team wouldn't have won the SEC? Do you want to have that conversation?
That's what you said. It's what you said during your show. You said
that's exactly what I said. They did.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in 2017, Georgia won the SEC, but got beat by Bama, who didn't even win their own division for the national title.
Well, that's something that you and I can agree on, because I don't think if you can't win your division, you shouldn't be in the college football playoff. But that's a completely different story.
Yeah, but the point is they beat the SEC champion and they didn't even win their own division. So you're basing that off of one game. When had you run that whole schedule, things may have been different. The guy,
I don't.
No one's saying that Clemson can't compete in the SEC. That's ridiculous.
I don't buy that. I mean, and I'm trying to be rational here, but it's really hard for me to sit here and say that Clemson will have issues playing Mizzou, Vanderbilt, and there's 2 games they got to get up for every year if they're in the East, and you're telling me that Clemson's going to have issues with that. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
And you continue to name the same 3 teams when you talk about the SEC.
Right.
But the fact is you do have to rotate a couple teams from the West each year. So
okay,
I mean,
so,
and you know all. I know that you.
I know all of that. I know all of that, and I know
Yeah.
that the way the schedule sets up, though, South Carolina didn't play Alabama for 8 years. What's up with that? You know,
Yeah.
it's not like you're playing the
Yeah, but
best of
South-
the West every year.
Yeah, but look where
Well,
South Carolina.
we got to beat our chest for
You're using
8 fucking.
them as an example.
What's that? I'm sorry.
You look at where South Carolina typically finishes. You're using them as an example, but they don't come anywhere near winning the East the majority of the years.
Right. Well, I mean,
it doesn't-
it's a what is it? Isn't it a 4-year window that you'll rotate out with each SEC team? Isn't that is it 4 or 5 years? Help me out with that because I don't remember the exact math on that.
Right now, it's like
I don't remember.
I mean, I think 4 years is a very worthwhile thing there to say that you're probably not going to play Alabama, but every 4 years as your rotating opponent, and obviously for
Right.
Tennessee you've got them. We can kind of agree on that, right?
Of course, but you're
Okay.
saying Alabama like they're the only ones worth a damn in the SEC.
Mm.
And yes, there have been down years for Florida and Auburn, but typically you've got Florida in the East. You've got you're going to rotate through either an Auburn or an LSU or an Alabama or an A&M.
typically,
Know all
exactly. Typically, the Florida, the Auburns, your LSU's, hell, even your Mississippi States and your Ole Misses, and your Missou's are better than the majority of what you're facing in the ACC. I mean, it's just fact. And we talk about they kind of most of the teams kind of get beat up a little bit, kind of get tested a little bit. You know,
Well,
I want
Right,
Megan,
and the
Megan.
point-
I have his email address, and I'm going to send you a link to a talk show up here in the upstate of South Carolina. Hopefully, you're free at some point in time between 3 and 7 in the afternoons, because I need you to call in. We got this asswipe on the Clemson radio station who claims to just be objective, yet he beats this same damn drum every time he starts talking about Georgia, starts talking about Clemson. He's like, you don't know how, if you think that Clemson wouldn't run through the SEC schedule, you're just blind. You just don't know how to evaluate talent. It has nothing to do with who you play. It has everything to do with your coaching and your talent level. And I get so sick and tired of hearing the same old song and dance all the time. And I would like, he needs someone to be his match, because I'm telling you, every time this guy starts getting it thrown up in his face, he clams up and he tries to start arguing with him. It's hilarious.
I want to say one thing, Megan. I remember that show. I think I said on that show, there's 3 teams in the SEC that I think could match up with Clemson and go toe to toe with them. Alabama,
You did.
LSU, and Georgia. The rest of the conference, I'm not very impressed with, sir. I think those 3 games would be a challenge for Clemson. Okay, so it's not. That's fair,
true.
right?
Well, right now it is, but
Okay.
we all know this. Look at last year's Florida team. Now they're typically, in the last few years haven't been that great, but last year they would have gave Clemson an issue.
I swear to you,
Auburn-
if you tell me Tennessee is going to be back, I'm hanging up the fucking phone. I can't deal with that. Can't deal
I'm
with
not
it.
doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But Auburn, Auburn is up and down very much too. I mean, the point is this. Look, you can't bring your A game every single week. Nobody does. Everybody has bad games. And the chances are higher of you losing that game running through an SEC schedule versus an ACC schedule. That's just fact.
How about this one? If Clemson had been in the ACC or the SEC last year and had played that piss poor game like they played against Boston College, where the ukulele man had to make the save there at the end against an Auburn, do you think they would have won? Be honest.
Well, I mean, South Carolina beat Auburn, so
Well,
that's
we're
really
not
a
talking
good
about
example.
South Carolina.
No, I'm just saying it's really hard for me to take Auburn seriously
Okay.
when Will Muschamp beat them.
Okay, Florida then. Last year's Florida team.
No, I think that if Florida would have given Clemson some issues last year with the K squared thing there with Pitts and Trask, yeah, I think that.
Right.
But I also think that the Clemson offense would have done some stuff against that Florida defense, which wasn't very good.
Oh yeah, no question about that.
So
they would, but
I stand
but
by
the
what I
point
said though. Those three teams, Alabama, LSU, and Georgia, they can match up toe to toe. The rest of the conference, not so much.
Texas A&M is better now than they were when Clemson played them a couple of years ago, and beat you in College Station. Clemson had to have a little bit of
like a decade ago, brother.
It was 2 years ago. Have a little bit of referee assistance there at the end. We're in that one, but
anyway.
Okay, so Rob, I went at you a little bit here. Now I'm going to say something you might like. Okay.
Oh God, here we go.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. How much leeway are you giving me to come off of my 3 TD thing? Do I have to go down with the ship on that?
No, hold on now. I wasn't expecting you to wager anything with 3 TDs. I really thought that was tongue in cheek. I didn't really think that you were serious. I didn't think anybody would be serious that Clemson's going to lose by 3 touchdowns to anyone, but I wasn't going to hold you to that.
Well, let me just say this: we finally had actually a slow weekend at work, and I went back and looked at every single snap JT Daniels took last year. Guys, I don't think he's very good. Everybody talks about Stetson Bennett and all the balls he got batted down. JT Daniels' first half of football, he had 3 balls batted down to the line of scrimmage, and in that first game, he had 2 interceptions that were dropped. He overthrew and underthrew guys left and right. I know what the stats are. He threw for over 400 yards, blah, blah, blah. Guys, that Cincinnati game, if he puts the ball on the money, that's not even a close game. He left so many points on the board by overthrowing or underthrowing guys. It was ridiculous.
Well, and to be fair, and I'm trying to be rational with you here, sir, you had some third-string offensive linemen playing for you. You didn't really – what'd you have, like 8 to 10 guys, I think, that opted out? And I'm no Georgia Google here, but there were a ton of guys that opted out of that game, and maybe there was issues with timing and everything else. But I'm not sold on JT Daniels being the second coming like everybody else is. I think he overthrows the ball a little bit too much, but we shall see.
Well, he more times than not, he underthrows a deep ball, and the receiver has to wait on it, and then they – if they do catch it, they get clobbered immediately. When if the ball was thrown, well, it's a touchdown. The guy's open by 10 yards, and JT Daniels kind of throw him back into coverage.
Yeah,
and it happens time and time again.
Would you say the last Georgia quarterback to actually throw the ball on time was what, Matt Stafford? As far as being able to throw the ball deep with timing and everything else.
What about Aaron Manpurse?
It's been a while.
I'll go with Matt Stafford. That's a fair assessment there.
What about Manpurse?
Yeah, Aaron Murray's underrated. Doesn't Aaron Murray still lead the SEC in total yards?
He might. I don't know. That's like Taj Boyd leading the ACC in total yards. It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
All right.
He was an underrated DB, though.
He was pretty good.
DJ Shockley.
Yeah. Oh, you're going way back now.
I'm going way back. Anything else you want to bring up on the show there, Beg and Megan?
No, I'll let you guys go. We'll see you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for supporting the show, man. Have a good night. All right, there you go. So let's get back to our upset picks here. We both are laughing at UCLA over LSU. Michigan over Ohio State. If there's a time to finally happen, it's 2021, according to this report. Jim Harbaugh knows he is up against it despite an incentive-based contract to remain with the Wolverines. Jackpot, on a scale of 0 to 10, how far off is that? Jackpot, did you leave me?
Right here.
Oh, 0. That's funny. I'm sorry. I was
looking. They don't have any playmakers.
That's true.
They don't. There you go. There's another wet fart of the week. Michigan football. Well, and they're like what? They either are the top or like the number 2 all time winning the season in college football.
Yeah, but they're a wet fart. So
they're horrible. No, that's not happening. And how long has it been since they beat Ohio State? Was it like
It's been
2000?
a long time.
Maybe
Yeah,
it was like 2011 or something, or 2010, but I think before that it was like 2002. So, yeah, they have some problems with them.
And the final game that they're calling that they think will be an upset is Georgia over Clemson on September the 4th. Neutral site game in Charlotte. It could very well be a playoff indicator for both teams since it's out of conference. It will surely be looked at as a good loss for either side if it's a closely contested game. Right now, the line favors Clemson, but by less than a touchdown. So anticipate a close contest to kick off the month of September. Either way, this very well could be a playoff semifinal type atmosphere and preview for later in the season should they both make the Final Four. From 0 to 10, Jackpot, tell us where we're at.
I put that about 7.
I as I said, the 3 teams in the SEC that can beat Clemson, Georgia, LSU, and Alabama.
Do you have any idea about the ticket distribution for that game? Is that going to be pretty much half and half?
I don't know how that's. I mean, I don't know how they're going to set that up. I know Clemson got a bunch, and Georgia got a bunch, but I don't know how they're going to distribute tickets. But it'll probably be a sea of orange on one side and a sea of whatever the color Georgia runs with, the red on the other.
A sea of the nice looking red and black on one side, or maybe 3/4 of the stadium, which is at one time known as our home away from home, Bank America Stadium. That ever since the Virginia debacle, it's become a house of horrors with the Gamecocks. So I hope we don't play there again for a good long while. But and then kind of maybe tuck the tater shits and one little corner over here by the toilet, the part that's close to the exit, so they can start heading for it around the start of the fourth quarter. That would be nice. That would be nice.
I was trying to be rational here. I think it's I'll give it a 6 or a 7 on that front because I'm not too sure on JT Daniels. So there you go. There's some upsets, Jackpot. They're out of all of them, it looks like the Clemson Georgia matchup is the one we kind of agree on, that the underdog, even though I don't know how Georgia's really considered an underdog, could win that game.
Oh, I meant to tell you too, the tickets in Greenville, North Carolina, price has dropped significantly.
Yeah, are they now? What are they now? I mean,
We're talking now. They're the nosebleeds. If there is such a thing as a nosebleed in Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, is around $90 a piece. So we get a little lower. I might pop on them, but not yet. And this is not. I'm not saying that I couldn't afford to buy the tickets now. It's just the fact that I like to shop around for a deal. I'm the kind of guy who likes deals. I like to get things at a quality product at the cheapest price that I can get it at.
A couple of questions out there. Rich says LSU couldn't beat Clemson currently.
Frugal, that's the word.
Frugal's a good word.
Frugal pot.
I agree with that. I just think that LSU has the capability with the way that they recruit. If they get a quarterback, I think they can play with Clemson. Randall says, Rob, do you think Ohio State is better than Clemson this year? I'm not sure who the quarterback is going to be for Ohio State. They do have talent across the board. We know that. I like their receiver, Chris Olave.
He's a 5-star, that quarterback. They did so. That automatically means that if he's a 5-star, he's going to be a superstar.
Jesus. Anyway, I can tell you about what they do have with Chris Olave at wide receiver. I think he is really good. And
he was a 3-star.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just blows your shit out of the water. 3-star's not supposed to be shit, right?
Right. So,
right.
South Carolina could have just signed the whole class full of Chris Olaves.
If South Carolina got a Chris Olave, they would be all right because Chris Olave, I think, is going to be one of the better receivers in the country.
They could have signed the whole class of Tate Fartells.
Tate Fartells. Did you just call him Tate Fartell? What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so get into the contest. If you're having some issues, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. Kale is at Hall_Kale. And you can find him on Twitter too. Reach out to us there, or just comment in the comment section, and we'll we can check it and help you out if you're having issues. But
SEC Dog said he couldn't find the link in the description box down there or whatever. And then he emailed me and I just sent it to him. I said, just go to PayPal and type in Kale8670 at AOL.com. If you can't use the link to it or whatever, that'll take you right to it. And if you still have problems with that, SEC Dog, getting it sent over, just do this. Just go on ahead and give me your bank account information. And that's all you got to do. Just give me that. I've got a smartphone and everything. Make sure you show the account numbers and all that good stuff on the check. And then I'll be able to extract the $20 from you that way.
Well, why don't we just do it this way? I mean, he is in Georgia. They may not have plumbing there, so why can't we just get him to go up to the post office and get a money order and just mail it to you? If you have issues with that, email Kale back, and then if you can get you a money order, if that's how you got to send it, we'll go that.
A money order.
A money order, because the checking account's not gonna matter. He's got to get the money out the mayonnaise jar.
People still buy money orders. I mean, they still do buy pay their bills with money orders. You know, when I ran the English store, we was printing up shit.
Rich says he can Western Union it. Yeah, well,
Western Union.
Rich, make sure you get in the contest. Rich is in it every year, so the link's in the show bio. All right, Jackpot, we'll be back at it on Sunday. Hopefully the college football world hasn't gone to shit again, and maybe we'll start. Rich's line.
Anybody send me a fucking Western Union.
Rich says he can pay with greenback stamps.
Oh, Lord, I hadn't seen those since I saw paper food stamps.
Oh, my goodness, greenback stamps. Well, there you go. Anyway, get in the contest. The link is in the description. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. With that, the show is a wrap.